Hi everyone, Michelle here, and I want to welcome you to this training, which is the Best Outsourcing Sites Roadmap. So what I'm going to be covering is the best outsourcing sites for you to use, why you should use them, and also what to avoid. So the first thing I want to cover is something that a lot of people really don't talk about, and that's the culture that's involved with outsourcing. And when I say culture, I'm talking about, how the culture within these different countries that you're going to be outsourcing to affects your outsourcing. Now, there's actually 3 countries that Gonzalo will avoid outsourcing to if he's outsourcing sensitive information. Now, some of you might be thinking, this is prejudice, it's, a stereotype, and I can totally understand that, but Gonzalo's had several experiences outsourcing to these countries that were not so great, and he's had colleagues that have had the same type of experiences. So there's a reason why he wants to share this information with you. Now, Gonzalo's first experience with outsourcing was back in 1996 when he was working for an international telecommunications company. And this company did business with roughly 100 different countries around the world. So this really gave him a lot of experience, not only with just outsourcing, but also the different cultural dynamics within these countries and how it really affected the outsourcing. So as I mentioned before, there are basically 3 countries that Gonzalo will not outsource sensitive information to. And when I say sensitive information, I'm talking about any personal identification information about clients, and also any other information or projects that if they were stolen by these people in these countries, it would devastate my business. For example, if I hire somebody to do some complex programming for me, and then they take that programming code and sell it to somebody else, would that devastate my business? So any personal identification information like social security numbers, credit card information, and again, any proprietary information that you do not want stolen or copied, we want to avoid outsourcing these types of things to these countries. And these countries are China, India, and Pakistan. So first, let's talk about China. Gonzalo has a really good friend who lived in China for 15 years and actually shared with him years ago that there's this unspoken belief within the business culture. I can sum it up as a saying, and it goes something like, if someone is dumb enough to be taken advantage of, then it's your responsibility to take advantage of them. Now, a lot of you might already know that China is the mecca of piracy. Technology, software, movies, you name it, they will pirate it. Now, I'm not saying that this is wrong or bad. It's just the reality of what is common in this country. So this is the main reason why China is on Gonzalo's list of countries to not outsource to if it's dealing with sensitive information that, if it is stolen or pirated, would devastate your business. Now, the next 2 countries on Gonzalo's do not outsource to list, which are India and Pakistan, I'm going to go ahead and group together because the reason he will not outsource to these countries is the same. And that is because the culture of these countries is very entrepreneurial, meaning the people within this culture are very focused and driven to become business owners. Now, because of this entrepreneurial mindset within these cultures, it's really hard to find employees who are willing to be with you long term. They're basically looking at what is the fastest way they're going to be able to get ahead. So you may invest a lot of time and sometimes money in helping to develop these people because you have a long-term vision of them growing with your company. But before you know it, they're gone. They're on to the next job because they think that's what's going to help them advance. And the other problem with this entrepreneurial mindset is that they can actually take your ideas and just run with it themselves. Both of these things have happened to Gonzalo several times, and he's had colleagues that have experienced this as well. Now, obviously, we all believe that entrepreneurship is a good thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. But for the purpose of outsourcing and looking for certain types of employees, we just believe it's better to avoid hiring people that have this kind of mindset. Now, of course, this has been just Gonzalo's experience, and you're totally free to outsource to whatever country you would like. But he really wanted to share this inside information with you so that you can avoid going through some of the terrible experiences that he's had outsourcing to these 3 particular countries and give you the background information of why. Now, I want to share with you 3 different articles that actually talk about entrepreneurship in different countries. This first article here gives you a ranking of the entrepreneurship level of different countries. And the countries that are the most entrepreneurial are going to be at the top of the list. So Gonzalo tends to outsource to the countries that are in the middle to the bottom of this list. This next article here is very similar in ranking the entrepreneurial level of different countries. And as you can see at the bottom is the Philippines. And as you know, the Philippines is a country that Gonzalo loves to outsource to for this very reason. And this last article here talks about how religion in these different countries actually affects people's decisions to become entrepreneurs, which is one of the main reasons why Gonzalo prefers to outsource to the Philippines. Within the main religion in the Philippines, there's a common belief that the meek will inherit the earth, which basically means for them that if they're too rich and too successful, it's somehow going to hurt their spirituality and sometimes even their relationship with God. Now, not everyone in this country believes this, but it is very, very common. And for the most part, people in the Philippines really value God, family, doing good in the community. Being a business owner is at the bottom of their list of priorities. Their main goals basically are to have a good roof over their heads, a happy and healthy family, a nice weekend. And for most of them, they just want a nice, comfortable, secure job. They want to work for somebody for a long time. Sometimes you'll find people that have high aspirations for work, and basically this is to be a manager. You know, their dream is to manage a team because it gives them a lot of honor and respect within their community. One of the things that we've discovered over the years of outsourcing to the Philippines is that when these people can work from home, especially for a foreign company, an international company, it carries a lot of prestige within their community and their families, which for them is extremely important. And that's why they love to work for foreign companies. So these are the reasons that Gonzalo loves outsourcing to the Philippines. Hopefully this information has been useful for you. And like I said, this is Gonzalo's approach to outsourcing. It doesn't mean that you have to take it word for word, but he did want to share it with you so that you can avoid some of the pitfalls and problems that he's experienced. He really wants you to be successful, so that's why we've shared it with you. Now I'm going to talk about the different outsourcing sites that you can use to hire your employees. There are basically 2 types of sites that you can use to find your outsourced employees. The first are traditional job posting sites, and the second are freelancer job sites. All right, so now I'm going to be talking about the traditional job posting websites. Usually, you can get these people for a better price than you would find on the freelancer websites. For the most part, the people that you'll find in these traditional job posting websites are the people that are looking for long-term employment. They're the ones that will be with you for years. And from our experience, finding people from these types of sites is really the best strategy if your long-term goal is to build a team with your outsourcing that will be with you for a long time to grow with your company. Now, I know that this was already covered in the course, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's really important. When you post a job with these traditional job posting websites, you need to look like a credible and professional company. Basically, you need to look like a real business. So remember, you want to make sure that your job posting title or headline is benefit oriented. The applicants will be looking at potentially thousands of different job listings, and you want yours to stand out from all the rest. And this is one of the easiest ways to accomplish this, is to make sure that your headline, that your title has benefits in it. Remember, when these applicants are sifting through all of these job listings, they're thinking to themselves, what's in it for me? It's all about them. So make sure that you're speaking to that. And the other thing that you want to make sure that you have included in your job posting is the employment video. This is really the one thing that is just going to load your funnel with a ton of applicants, which is what you want. Now, don't forget, you still want to make it as easy as possible for the applicants to apply. You're just going to have them submit their resume and then take them through the automated funnel. Now, there's 3 traditional job posting websites that we use when we want to find new employees from the Philippines. The first one is onlinejobs.ph. And this one does charge a monthly fee, but realistically, you're only going to have to pay for 1 month until you find your employee. And then you can just cancel it. The next website that we use is Craigslist. And Craigslist can be a hit or miss type of thing depending on what country you're hiring from. Most of the time it's free to post these. Most of the time it is free to post, but in some countries they do charge. Now, for the Philippines, they do have different Craigslist pages for the different metropolitan areas. So if you do know which area you want to target, just make sure that you put your posting in that section. What we do is we just go ahead and post in all the major metropolitan areas so that we can get as many applicants as possible into our funnel. The third type of job posting site that we will post on are the major classified ads job boards. Now, if you want to find these types of sites in different countries, all you have to do is do a Google search and just type in the name of the country followed by classified ads or just the word classifieds. And it will pull up the largest ones for you that you can then find your employees from. All right, so now I'm going to switch gears and talk about the second type of outsourced sites that we find our employees from, and those are the freelancer job sites. What's great about the freelancer job sites is that it's really easy to find people who want to work part-time or on an hourly basis or a project basis. In fact, we will hire most of our graphic artists or graphic designers from these freelancer job sites. If we need a new website designed, for example, it just makes a lot more sense to pay somebody on an hourly basis for a couple hours rather than paying a full-time salary. And even though we're paying people on an hourly basis or a project basis, we will still give them test tasks to test their skill. Sometimes if it's a really high-end project that requires advanced skills, we'll sometimes even offer to pay for their time to take the test task because we really want to make sure that we get quality work. And one of the reasons that we really love to hire our designers through these types of sites is that we have them on an on-call basis. So anytime we have a new project that needs to be done, we just contact them and they're on it. We still have these people use Joyproof because we want to document how many hours they're actually working on our projects. So they work on our projects for however long it takes them to complete. We get billed and then they get paid. Another reason we use freelancer job sites is if we have a project that only needs to be done once. It doesn't make any sense to hire somebody full-time or even part-time for this. It's just a one-time project. And so we post our project on there and then we get bids. So for example, if you have a client that needs to have a website built, this is just going to be a one-time thing. This is a really great way to find somebody to do that for you. Now, as I said before, you can find full-time employees from a freelancer job site. If you do decide to go this route, just make sure that whoever you hire, you have them use Joyproof. Just because you want to make sure that they're not working on multiple jobs at the same time when they should just be working on yours. Having Joyproof is just an extra safety net for you. So if you do decide that you want to use freelancer job sites to find your employees, there are 4 different sites that we use. They're our favorite. We've had the most success with them. And they are Odesk, Elance, Guru, and Freelancer. And we've included the links for these websites in the PDF under this video. Now, there's something I want to talk about that's a little bit different with your hiring process if you use a freelancer job site. When you use a traditional job posting website, remember, you're going to have your applicants respond to your job posting through email. With a freelancer site, you're just going to go ahead and put the link to your Google form right in your job posting. And remember, this Google form is for them to take the test task. And you can say something really simple in the posting, like, please click on this link to complete this form. And then they'll go through the same process as candidates from the other types of sites. And something that you may want to add to your Google form, this is something that we actually do, is we add an extra field in the Google form that asks them for their freelancer ID. So whatever site you're on, say it's Odesk, you would add a field in your Google form that says, please enter your Odesk ID number. And this way, if this person makes it through to the end of the funnel and you want to look at their portfolio, you want to look at their resume, you want to consider interviewing them, you'll have a lot easier time finding them on this website. Now, these freelancer job sites are really great for hiring for positions that you don't have or don't need full-time work for. You can instead hire on an hourly basis or a project-by-project basis. So posting the link to your Google form for the first set of test tasks directly into your job posting is the only thing that's going to change in your automated hiring system. And the main reason you want to do this is because these people are not going to be emailing you their resume. That's the biggest difference. Now, you're still going to be sending them the automated email response that you've already set up, inviting them to the second phase, which they'll complete the second set of test tasks for you. And then once you have a good number of applicants completing the second phase, you'll go ahead and grade the candidates, and then you'll be able to decide who you want to do a Skype interview with. And then once you find your all-star, you'll be able to hire them directly through the freelancer site. Now, most of these freelancer sites do charge a fee to be the middleman, which is around roughly 10%. But what's really great about using a middleman is that you don't have to be reminded to pay the employees because they'll just bill you directly. Now, on a side note, I did want to mention here that if you're not quite sure what an hourly rate should be for a certain type of task or what you should be paying for a certain type of project, you can refer to the training that I did on how much to pay your employees. I did go over how to use these sites and do research to figure all of this out. So you can refer to that. All right, so to wrap up here, you basically have two different strategies you can use to find outsourced employees. Go ahead and try both, see which one fits better, which one works out better for your needs and for your company. And really quickly, something that I forgot to mention about the freelancer sites that we really like is that when we get our top 3 to 5 candidates that have gone through our funnel, we can actually look at reviews that their previous employers have done on them. For example, if we're getting ready to hire a new VA and we're at the end of our funnel, we've got our 3 to 5 top candidates that we're getting ready to do interviews with, we can actually go and read reviews and feedback from their previous employers that they did VA work for. And this can really help us in our hiring decisions. And this is why when we need to hire somebody on a project-by-project basis, 99% of the time we will hire somebody from a freelancer job site, specifically because we can read reviews and feedback from people that they've already done work for. And like I said before, we've had success using both types of these websites to find our full-time employees, but just go ahead and test both and see which one works out better for you. I hope this training has been helpful, and don't forget to grab your download below this video. It has all of the links to the websites that I've talked about.